Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna ramble a lot today about 2022 and what I'm planning for 2023. I wanted to do like a quick recap of 2022 as a whole, especially like my reading and my bingo card because I totally forgot it existed. And what I was planning for 2023, and I have a little mini book haul-ish sort of as well. By the way, the read what you own challenge, screw that. Sorry, criminally. Let's get started with the 2022 bingo card challenge that I invented and I screwed up. Because that's the kind of stuff we do on this channel. Okay, so it seems like a bartender protagonist and or antagonist has been crossed out. But I honestly can't even remember what book this was for. There's a bartender character in This Thing Between Us that I read so long ago. I think it was even the first book I read in 2022 with Mr. Morningstar. And okay, we're just gonna say that was that one. Next, a character wearing blue shoes. This was way too specific. If you don't know how it chose the categories, I just wrote the first thing that came to mind, honestly. So, yeah, no character wore blue shoes in 2022. Everyone dies at the end except the dog. I feel like I did read something like that. Oops. I feel like at some point during the year, I told myself I did it. I can't put my finger on it. Isn't it something like dementia? Is there a dog in dementia? Or maybe it was Aura? I don't know. But there's a cat on the front cover, so it couldn't be a dog. We're just gonna, you know what? Let's just something like that. Snoopy reference? No, but I did read a book in which there was a Goofy reference. Which one was it? You're asking too much, but I know I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and cross it out because close enough. Finish my stop motion project. That's like oops. I just wanted to poke a hole in the middle thing. All right. Never mind. A book that unlocked a childhood memory. I don't know. I didn't. A book. I feel like simultaneously yes and no. That's a very meta category, and I don't know if we can get into that. We're just gonna okay. A book with a recipe I can try. I actually own a book, but I haven't read it. But I think it's on the same shelf as a book I have read, so maybe is that close enough? I don't know. Is it even here? Oh, is it here? Yes, it's literally this one. Oh my gosh. So it's called the Aubergine's Anger, I think. My aunt gifted this to me, so I have no clue what it's about specifically. But I did look inside, and it is a fiction, or well, it's a story. It's like not a recipe book. But I believe this either character or author, like whoever's telling the story in the first person, talks about their childhood in India or like their Indian culture, and every chapter or so there's a recipe that was referencing the memory in the chapter. Something along those lines. There's nothing to quote me on there, so don't do it. So sort of. Next up we have convincing a person IRL to read a book. Have I done this? You know what? The other day, my mom bought a book. I did not recommend it at all, but she started reading it. So maybe someone in my vicinity in real life started reading a book. So that's sort of what the category was, right? And then a book that was based on a movie. You know what? Bingo. We're just gonna, yeah, I realize, I know I'm a sore loser, especially when I make the rules to the game. And I honestly, you know what? Honestly, like, here's the truth, okay? At the time, I just wrote this out on the piece of paper. And then when I finished the notebook, I tore out the paper and I've kept it here since. But this paper, like this random sheet of paper, is not in conformity. Sorry, I was looking at what was on the back. This piece of paper is not in conformity with the rest of what's on my desk, which is all notebooks and like there's not loose sheets of paper. So having this here has been incredibly stressful, and that's why I'm kind of bitter about its existence. Is this dumb? Yes, but you know what? I think we're all dumb to some extent. So let's own it. Okay, so that's been my bingo card. I don't think I'm going to do another one for 2023 because, as I said earlier, I totally forgot about it. And the categories were too random. And, like, I don't know, maybe I feel like maybe I would do one with someone else if someone has any idea of categories. But, like, I don't know. It's just like, it's not loose enough for my vibe, man. The second thing I wanted to talk about today was my reading plans for 2023. So it's really cool. So my reading plans right now were to read what I already own, which is why I started Criminali's Read What You Own Challenge. And I think it started in like October or something, and I've read like 5 books or something since then, maybe even 4. So, yeah, and then I failed because the other day I was having a really, really, really bad day. And, well, not a bad day, but like I had to go to the doctors, and I don't like doing that because that doctor specifically is the kind I don't like. It's the eye doctor, and when you have eye problems, it's not a fun time. And so, anyway, on my way back from the doctor's, I magically on accident walked by a bookstore and I tripped and fell and bought a few books. And so that is how the Read What You Own challenge ended. Anyway, so I'm still gonna read what I own, obviously. I'm not gonna read something I don't own. So anyway, so that's been that. I don't have any specific reading plans. The one thing I did, okay, here's the funny thing. So in 2018, this is like way before I even started YouTube, I started this reading challenge, which is the Reading Around the World challenge that I decided to start after seeing Anne Morgan's reading blog. She's a BBC journalist. Well, she used to be. I don't know if she still is. I don't know. Anyway, I'll link it below. And the concept is you read a book that's from every, like, whose author is from every country in the world. Cool. So I was doing that, and at first, I was reading that only. And then I slowed it down around 2020 or so because I realized I was so focused on the actual country that I wasn't taking the time to read, like, to research books I really, really wanted to read. Like, I'm one of those squirrel people where I'm like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. This looks kind of interesting. I'll just read that, like, I'd be interested in that. But, when it came to it, I wasn't really interested. Like, there was sort of interesting, but it wasn't really what I wanted to read. So anyway, I could put that project kind of on a back burner for the past 2 or 3 years. No, 1 or 2 years. I don't know, whatever. And so I've just been like, I'm just going to read what I want. And if it happens to be from a new country, I'll add it as part of the project. Anyway, this year I decided, you know what? I feel like I was just lazy and I wasn't doing research. Like, I was just picking a country and finding the first book that I found, kind of a thing. So, and then the other day, Michelle from Michelle's Melancholia posted a video that she was doing that, but only for horror. And I was like, girl, awesome. So, yeah, so I'm probably gonna live this project through her version of it, maybe. I don't know. I'm still kind of like, and this is not a laziness factor. I think this is another like budget thing where I'm like, there are books that I already bought. So, like, obviously, I'm going to start with the books I already own. And there are honestly some books that I've had for a while that I'm just like, I don't want to read these. Like, I'm tired of being like, I'll read this later, I'll read this later. So, anyway, that's a lot of words to say I'm going to read books this year. Yeah, nothing special is going to happen this year, except that I'm committing to reading more horror. Um, I don't know. Am I? Whatever. Dude, I told you this video was gonna be rambly. So here is a book haul because I think it's time for a book haul. So I have two categories of books here. I have the books that I bought the other day when I was having a really bad day and I tripped and fell. And then I have books I got for Christmas. Hold on. Let me start with what I got for Christmas. So I got 3 books. The first one, okay. These are all in French. The first one I got, hold on, let me start with what's on top, is Se perdre by Annie Ernaux. So se perdre means to lose yourself. And as you can see, it says, or maybe you don't read French, but it's pretty similar. It's Literary Nobel Prize for 2022, which Annie Ernaux, the author, won. And it's so funny because when it came out that she had won the Nobel Prize, everyone, like, I heard it on the radio first and everyone was all like, oh, Annie Ernaux, yeah, she's such an amazing author, blah, blah, blah. And simultaneously, my mom and I and everyone were just like, why are people pretending that everyone knew who she was? And like, I don't know. I feel like I've never heard of her before that. No one I know has heard of her before that. I don't know. Whatever. I look forward to reading this. I don't even know what it's about. I look forward to finding out what it's about on the day I decide to read it. The next book I got is La Constance du Prédateur by Maxime Chaton, and that means The Predator's Constant. So this seems to be about a serial killer or like a murderer, and it's inspired by Greek mythology because his nickname is Charon, or Karen or whatever, Karen, Charon, whatever, that some mythological creature, I forgot how you say it in English. But anyway, and so it's something about how he's still loose and they haven't caught him, which are 2 different ways of saying the exact same thing. And I look forward to reading this. I've never read Maxime Chaton before. It looks cool. It's a bit on the longer side for 435 pages. Sounds like fun. And the last book I got, which I'm really looking forward to reading because you'll see why in a sec, is by Chloé Cruchaudet, and it's the first part, and it's called Celeste. Like me, it's my name, Celeste. And here it says, of course, Mr. Proust, in reference to Marcel Proust. If you don't know, he's a super famous French author. I don't know what it's about, but it is a graphic novel with really beautiful, hold on, how are we gonna do this? Images, like somewhere between a graphic novel and a comic book. I still don't understand the difference. If anyone cares to let me know. The drawings are really pretty. Être avec lui. All right, well, there's just a random quote at the end. I don't really know what it's about. But I do know that Marcel Proust is a really cool author. Anyway, this is kind of like a mystery. I like mysteries. As in, I don't know what it's about. It's not an actual mystery. But yeah, so that's what I got for Christmas. And here is what I got when I was having the bad day. First thing I got was a notebook that I'm going to use as a reading journal. Isn't it pretty? This is, it's just like, you know, a notebook. And it is the Chateau de Léotoin, which is the Léotoin Castle. I think Léotoin is a region or something. I don't know. The words are and letters are too small. Look, too small. So the first book is Paperboy by Pete Dexter. Did I pick it up thinking it was a novelization of Dexter? Yes, I did, but lo and behold, it's not. And this is, I believe, also a serial killer or murderer type story. Oh, no. It's this guy who is falsely accused of being a murderer who is sentenced to death, to the death penalty. And after being sentenced, he calls it PI or like a lawyer. I don't know exactly. But yeah, and he tries to prove his innocence basically. So it looks great. I love the book cover. And yeah, I look forward to reading that. The second book is Kaiken by Jean-Christophe Granger. Kaiken, that's just the name, it doesn't mean anything. So Granger is actually an author that my cousin recommended to me years ago, and I never got to reading him, so I look forward to it. He's like a crime mystery author. I think he wrote a lot of really cool books. He's pretty popular here in France. So actually, if you want to read Jean-Christophe Granger, I would probably go ahead and recommend it, even though I haven't read anything. But Kaiken looked really cool. It's about, I think, this mysterious creature in Japan. And the description at the back is a poem, sort of. So when I read it, I was like, okay, I'm picking this one. Of all the Granger books in the bookstore, I decided to go with this one. So it says, Quand le soleil levant devient un soleil noir, quand le passé devient oh my god, quand le passé devient aussi tranchant qu'une lame nue, quand le Japon n'est plus un souvenir mais un cauchemar, alors l'heure du Kaiken sonne, or a sonné, which translates to, just going off the seat of my pants here, when the rising sun becomes a black sun, when the past becomes as tranquil as the naked blade, when Japan's is no longer a memory but a nightmare, then the hour of the Kaiken has rung. Isn't that a cool poem? Sorry about my terrible reading skills. It happens. Also, again, it's a livre de poche, which is the name of the edition, which literally means pocketbook. I love the editing. Like, I like the layout of this. This is not a good example, but like, it's just comfortable to read for me, and it literally fits in your pocket. The width is like exactly the width of a back pocket, and you can bet your tootin' booty I could fit it in there, so I love it. Oh, it fell. So the one book I did splurge on, if you remember a few months ago, I did a poem with Pax Panic about the haunted poets. And so I said in there that my favorite poets, not just haunted poets, but like poets across the board, are Arthur Rimbaud and Charles Baudelaire, who are two French poets from the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, 1800s. And whatever, man. Anyway, so one of Baudelaire's most famous poetry collections is called The Flowers of Evil, or Les Fleurs du Mal in French. And oh my god, here I was browsing the bookstore, and what do I see? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So this is just part one, and it is an illustrated version of the first part of Les Fleurs du Mal, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna I almost got lipstick on the page. And the illustrations were made by, oh my god, look, it is so gorgeous. Were made by Bernard Isler. Bernard Isler, who is a comic book illustrator. And yeah, I guess he just took on Les Fleurs du Mal. I have not, so in the bookstore, I didn't see part 2 or anything, but I like to think he made a part 2, which if I can't find it in store, I'll probably order. I wonder if he did other poets too. Look at the back. Oh my gosh. And it's shiny and everything. With the crow and the, or raven or whatever, and the skull. It's so gorgeous. I wish I could show you in person. And this brown here, it's kind of like a sepia brown where it's lightly, like it has red undertones. It's just so amazing. And here's the spine. Oh my god. Oh my god. The illustrations in this book are similar, I find, in style or feel inspired. I'm not saying one was inspired by the other, but maybe the artists who did both have similar inspirations. The illustrations in here remind me of the ones in here, and this is Silent Nights by Till Lindemann. It's his poetry collection, and there are very like grotesque-ish, well, drawings like this one, or hold on, I don't even know what you can see. Anyway, or like this one, where they're very like just raw, and like this one. I don't know, man. I was just so excited when I found this one. Okay, here's one of my favorite illustrations in here. Look at that. Oh my god. And it's the poem here references Sisyphus and his task, his lifelong task in hell, and I think this is like the best ever drawing I've seen of Sisyphus. Hope you had fun watching this video. All this to say not so much after all, except I'm gonna keep oogling over this book after I'm done filming. I hope you guys have a great day and a fun reading. I hope you're reading fun stuff. I'm tired, I need a coffee. Bye!